Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast, the number one podcast in Colorado Springs and soon the world. My name is Andrew Hasley and I am the host of the show. Today I'm sitting here with Jacob Montoya, and can you tell us a little bit about your business and what you do?
Yeah, our business is FitSW. We're an all-in-one platform for personal trainers and gyms. So we do everything from automation and provide software tools that help trainers do their jobs more efficiently. So when you're a trainer, you get into it because you like fitness, you like helping people reach your goals. You don't want to spend your time on admin work. And there is a lot of admin work when you're planning fitness programs for 30 different clients. And so we try to make that more efficient for trainers, adding a bunch of automation and just technology that makes their jobs easier.
One of our sponsors is Recon Marketing. Recon is the fastest growing social media marketing agency in Colorado. Recon focuses on becoming an extension of your business while providing social media management, review management, and digital marketing. Recon Marketing, putting you on the radar. Our next sponsor is Planet Duct. Planet Duct offers astronomical air duct cleaning with the most powerful vacuum trucks in Colorado. They have taken air duct cleaning to a new intergalactic level that is far more powerful and proactive than anything on the market in El Paso County and southern Colorado. Sheath Underwear. Sheath Underwear has a pouch for the boys. It is everyday underwear for every man. 100% money back on the first pair if you don't like it. Visit sheathunderwear.com and enter the code COSBP20 to get 20% off your order. The People's Tiny House Festival is the nation's largest gathering of simple living, featuring van conversions, bus conversions, and tiny houses, of course. Catch the event in Loveland, Colorado, July 16th and 17th at the Ranch Events Complex.
Get your tickets at peoplestinyhousefestival.com/tickets.
And this is like software?
It's software,
Okay.
Yeah, so we provide software as a service, so monthly subscription, and these trainers can use our product, to do everything from plan workouts, plan meals, plan programs, accept payments, manage their schedule, all that type of stuff. And their clients can use the platform as well. So trainers can deliver, if they're doing online training, they can deliver those fitness programs to their clients through the platform. The clients can pull it up on their phone if they're working out on their own, or if they're with the trainer can pull it up and kind of follow through with what they had planned for
the clients have their own portal.
The clients have their own portal.
Okay,
yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, and so it's really helpful for trainers to track their client's progress. So the client, the trainer doesn't have to do much work to track how their client is doing on bench press over time. And our system automatically plots that over time, gives insights and recommendations on how the trainer can further optimize future workouts. And,
For sure.
and it gives the trainer a dashboard to see how all of their clients are doing, see which ones might need more help, might need, encouragement, that type of thing.
Is there equipment you guys could link up with?
Yeah, so we link up with Apple Health and Google Fit. And all that data is imported. So that means the trainer, if the client gives them access, can see how their client is doing with respect to steps, all their fitness data that the trainer can see, and then that might help them determine how to alter their fitness program.
Wow, I'm really excited to talk to you about this actually, because I've recently started a software company for video games specifically, and I'm interested of your journey and how did you develop it? Did you hire a developer? How did that happen?
Yeah, I'm interested in hearing more about your business too. Yeah. So I was a developer at Intel for 8 years, so software developer. So I had that experience.
Nice.
So I was the one who created the initial version of our software, and luckily now I have developers on staff that are that have improved it. But yeah, I was the one that did the initial version both on web and on iOS. So we have an iOS app and we have an Android app. But yeah, now we have a team that's doing that development.
Nice. Okay. Sweet. So what did they do? Did they just make sure it fix bugs, make sure it doesn't break, or?
Yeah. So there's always new improvements that we get from our users. So that's one thing we pride ourselves is in being very responsive to our users. So, one thing we added recently is clients wanted to be able to upload videos of themselves doing the actual exercise that the trainer had assigned if the trainer's not there. And so then the trainer can get a notification to see how are they doing their form. So we always get requests like that. And so that's what those developers are. And then with the three platforms, so we have a web platform, iOS and Android, that takes, we're not using a unified code base. We're kind of doing native development on all three because we feel that gives users a better experience. And so, we just need developers for each platform to kind of build out those additional features, fix those bugs. We also have a few gym chains, one that's particularly large that we're doing a lot of custom work for. They want to, they have this system that they used that they've seen has resulted in a lot of success with their clients. And so we're adding kind of new features that allow them to do that better. So we're always busy with adding new features, fixing bugs, that kind of thing.
And so when you say web, like that's like a browser, or?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, so web app, it's people go to FitSW.com, they log in, and then they can see their dashboard. They can do everything they can do.
And that's built on your website.
That's built on our website.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because that's all an app is is just a website.
Yeah. That's all a web app is. Yeah, it's a website that has some functionality other than just static pages.
Yeah, there's some really cool tools out there that are web based.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so that's interesting. So your background at Intel, what were you doing?
So I was writing software to test computer chips.
Okay.
So it was kind of my undergrad degree was in electrical engineering, and so we had to understand kind of the electrical properties of the chip, but then apply software and write software to actually test those electrical properties. And so we wrote in a scripting language called Perl. We did some C++, and so had background in that. Didn't have experience in the languages that we developed our apps in, but there were some similarities that allowed me to do it. But it was slow going at first, but eventually got there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you were creating the app, what was some of your biggest problems with it? What was the things where you're like banging your head against the desk? What, if any?
Yeah.
I assume that's part of the process of programming.
For sure. Yeah. So the web app wasn't too bad, just because there was a lot of similarities between, we use PHP and there's similarities between PHP and Perl. And so that was pretty straightforward. But once we started getting a lot of requests for users wanting an app, right? At first, we just had the web app. They wanted a mobile app. They wanted to be able to pull this up on their iPhone from the App Store. And so I decided to try and learn how to develop an iOS app, and that was really hard. It took a lot of time, a lot of learning, just because it's a different environment than.
That's what I'm learning right now.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, exactly. With your software, how's your team developing it?
It's just me right now, actually.
Okay.
The company's 3 months old, if that even. I don't even think it's three whole months yet. It's already registered company. I've gotten the developer. I paid the $100 to be a developer.
Okay, so you're gonna do the iOS app. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, right now I have the Google. I haven't set up with the iOS yet. Though I got to the last page and I was like, let me figure some things out first before I spend this $100.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I was just playing around with some things and see, I'm developing the games in Unreal Engine.
Okay.
So that actually, a lot of the coding is done with Blueprints, which is a visual kind of. Blueprints is Unreal Engine's like node-based programming thing. So a lot of the things, like, it's for someone who's a beginner programmer, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And what's cool about Unreal is there's a lot of built out things for you.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So if you know how to problem solve, if you know how to critically think, you can figure it out.
Yeah,
and I thankfully I'm good at that. So.
That's good. Yeah.
So, and it's also like programming teaches you how to think. I've learned, like, it teaches you how to really like work through things.
Yeah,
which is a valuable skill in all assets of life, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a problem solving exercise. I mean, you might, like you're saying, you have these built out things, but then you'll encounter an issue where this built out thing won't work with that built out thing.
And you have no idea why.
Exactly.
It's like you don't even know where to start to look for things.
Yeah.
It was just like when I was learning how to do video editing, actually.
Yeah.
Like I'm teaching my friend how to do video editing right now. And it's like when he asked me a question and I'm like, you just move this thing over here. It's the simplest thing, but it takes me back to remembering when I first started video editing and like just not knowing, just not knowing things that are critical, just very simple things that just seem so basic.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I have a huge learning curve on that aspect of it. A lot of the video game part is the design part, which is not just the programming part. It's not just the developing part. Video games are graphical.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they very rely on graphics.
Yeah, that's a huge part of the experience. Yeah, exactly.
So, and I'm good at art and good at that side. So that's where I'm going to excel in doing this. So hiring out programmers will probably be one of the first things that I'll have to do or want to do because you can't do everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one of the biggest lessons I've taken away from doing this startup also is you can't do everything.
For sure.
You can try, but that's not gonna work.
And I am trying.
Yeah, at first you can. But
you have to actually at first, I think, because you're the only one who really believes in your vision. You're the only one investing in your vision. So.
Yeah, and that's probably a critical skill too, is like identifying how long you do that for and when is the time to start to delegate, start to bring on people.
For sure.
So that's a tricky part of the process.
Yeah, and it's got me excited. Like I feel more passionate about doing this than I think anything I've ever done.
That's awesome.
It combines everything that I've studied over the last 15 years of my life, you know, when it comes to music, when it comes to video production, when it like filmmaking, when it comes to storytelling, writing, all that stuff plays into a good video game.
Yeah.
And I know how to produce music like from scratch, you know, like with the digital audio workstation. So it's like having that skill and doing that for so long is coming in handy with video game design. Brings all those aspects and puts them into one. Yeah. And it's really awesome, and it's adding a new one, which is programming.
That's cool. That's cool.
Which is pretty intimidating, but it's also very. There's nothing I don't have a single ounce in my body that thinks I can't do it. Yeah. I know I can do it. So
yeah, just takes time. Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that, and so I want to like use this opportunity to being with you here today in your experience with programming. Maybe I can learn something. What would be one of the biggest pieces of advice you would give me in this journey?
It sounds like you have a pretty good understanding of what you need to do, and the fact that you have passion behind it, because you're gonna have to grind if you're gonna try and learn it yourself, because it just takes time to learn it, try to figure it out. You know, there's always someone who's probably experienced the same problem you've experienced. So, you know, Google is your friend, right? Stack Overflow, maybe you've already been exposed
to that. No.
So it's a website where, you know, programmers all have tons of questions. So there's probably, I would say, millions of questions on there. And there's a good chance that one of those questions is the same one that you're wondering how to do. And so being able to kind of, you know, search online and figure out what is first know what to search for. Yeah. Figure out what's relevant to you. Like, you know, you don't want to get. I mean, a big part of programming is also taking some time and going down the wrong path. Yes. And then, you know, you got to reset and go back down another path. So that's you only have so much time in the world, especially if you're doing all that other stuff. Yeah. So just knowing when to you know, I guess identifying when you could be on the wrong path and figuring out how to change course. So but it's a grind. If you're learning it from scratch, I would take advantage of, you know, mentors. I think there's some programming groups that I've, you know, been exposed to, and so that can be helpful if you're having a particular problem. I think there's like an iOS developer or iOS programmer.
There's a good YouTuber who he's even put together a Facebook group of game developers specifically. Oh, that's cool. And he does teach in Unreal, and he also teaches in Unity, which is the other main one. Yeah. They're both free softwares too to use, like, which is amazing. And both of them have massive communities behind them. So they have those. Unreal Engine has Answer Hub. Yeah. Which is their version of I assume what was the one you said? SAC.
SAC. iOS development or
no the website where there's a bunch of programmers.
Oh, Stack Overflow.
Stack Overflow. Okay, Stack, not Stack. Yeah, Stack Overflow. And then there's also GitHub, too.
For sure.
I don't know much. Is that a question and answer thing? I know it's more about people put on their own softwares.
They put their code up there, but often there will be discussions around that software that, you know, but that's a key aspect too, is one is choosing the right platform. And it sounds like Unity, with all that support and all that community, it'll be a little bit easier to develop on, because you have those answers to those questions, and then also bringing in the tools. I mean, Unity is probably a tool as well, but you can bring in libraries into your software. Like, for example, you know, we have the ability to track progress over time. We didn't want to go out and develop like a graphing software solution on
scratch,
iOS
yeah.
from scratch. There's already libraries out there.
Yes.
They may not be used for fitness. They're used for other things. But
if you have the knowledge, you can reprogram it,
Yeah.
or you can build it. Like,
yeah, you can pull that library into your project and then integrate it and use it. So
Yeah.
that would be a good thing to do as well. Yeah.
And see, I liken video editing to programming all the time.
Yeah.
It's what you're doing. You're programming video to do what you want it to
Yeah.
do. And I was going somewhere with that, and I totally lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I mean, you're using the software tools, and you're like the whole process is programming.
Yeah,
right?
okay, that's where I was going. There's some pretty complex edits out there that like have turned things, like make crazy layers on them, and like, but if you don't know how to work those templates, they're useless to you. Like you can't, like I can take something in that template and say there's like a shining light on something like a 3D object. I can know how if I decide creatively I don't like that light, I can take that light out, or really customize it however I want, And that's what I assume would be with these libraries.
Yeah.
And there's a Unreal Marketplace.
Okay.
And it's really awesome, an asset marketplace. Like if I want a first-person shooter game, there's a basic template for a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
And almost 80% of the game is already programmed for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just got to do the modeling and like make my characters and maybe add my own touch and add my own twist, so it's like not just a cut and dry basic thing, but
Yeah.
it's really awesome. Like
Yeah, that's cool.
the software, it actually blew my mind of how feasible it is for a solo dev to make video games.
Yeah.
And make top, like a solo dev with given the right amount of time could make a AAA game if they wanted to.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it with the advances of these open source softwares, with the advances of them in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Like
It's everything's just
Yeah.
Really, it's amazing how fast development can happen now with these tools that you're standing on the shoulders of giants, right?
Did I say that yesterday?
Did you?
Did I say that yesterday? And what
awesome.
I said something else though, but that was funny. But yeah, that's exactly what it is, man.
Yeah.
And then I related it to cups. We all have cups now. I don't know. It's a silly analogy because we're standing on the shoulders of literally everything in this room.
Yeah, that's 100%.
It's really
true.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
And it's an awesome time to be a human.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. So back to the business, man. You developed it yourself at the beginning, and you developed was it just the web based that you developed?
Yeah, so it was just a web-based. We had, users using it. That was, in 2017. I think like mid-2017 is when I launched the iOS app. And so that was me also developing that. And that, like I said, it took a lot of time, it took a lot of grinding, and but eventually got it out there and, had pretty good results with it. Then, once you have an iOS app, everyone's like, well, where's the Android app? I want to, Android app. And so, especially for our software, because you'll have trainers that are on a certain platform, but not all their clients are on that same platform. So you need to, everything needs to be linked together and synced together. And so that, that's a big part of our product, just making it user friendly for, the trainer to work with the clients no matter what platform they're on. Even if the trainer wants to do some of the work on the website and then pull it up on their phone when they're with the client, it just, we're trying to make things as flexible as possible. But yeah, so then people started asking for an Android app. I didn't, have the time at that point. We were growing, and so I didn't have the time to do Android development. And so I actually hired our first intern here in Colorado Springs to do some of the Android development. That that was an interesting experience. He did some things really well, and he worked with us for a little bit of time, and then he graduated and moved on. And then we hired some overseas developers to kind of I think they might have worked with him a little bit on some things as well, because he wasn't experienced with some aspects of it. And so I brought on some international developers that kind of worked with him on the things that he didn't understand as well. And yeah, we were eventually able to release that Android app.
What's the difference
between Android and iOS? Yeah, so they use different languages. So iOS uses a language called, it's either Objective-C, which is kind of the older language, and Swift is the new one. And then Android uses Java.
So you have to rebuild it from scratch?
You have to rebuild it from scratch, yeah.
Wow.
So it's a completely different language, completely different IDE, which is a developer. I don't know what that stands for, actually. I should. But anyway, it's like the software that you use to actually do the development. So Yeah, so you use completely
They
different
can't.
tools.
Is there ways that you can just convert?
Yeah, no, that's a
languages?
great question. Not there's nothing that's really makes that easy. There's always a bunch of extra work that you have to do in order to do that. But there are tools now, more recently, that are have become more developed, like React Native and I think Ionic. There's a few different
Nice.
ones that let you develop at one time, and then you can deploy it to iOS, deploy it to Android, deploy it to the web. So it's a single code base, which makes it a lot
Well,
easier.
that's what Unreal Engine does.
Yeah,
Like you can
okay.
export it for PlayStation. You can
Yeah.
export it for Switch. You can
Okay.
export it for iOS.
Exactly.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, because I had to determine like, if I'm gonna do this, I got to figure out how to do it for every platform. And I'm like, oh, that's a big problem. And I was like, I spent hours trying to determine if and how hard that was.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not that hard.
Yeah, yeah, that's
because of Unreal has made it so easy.
That's great that you figured that out. I think at the time that I was in 2017, React Native was around, but I had heard negative things in terms of like,
Things breaking or
yeah, things don't work always the way that you expect them to. You know, they may work fine on web, but they won't work on iOS, and so it takes a little bit of work to do all that. And at that point, it was kind of relatively early, and there were more problems with React Native. Maybe now I would have, if I were starting this now with the advances in those technologies, I might just use React Native. But
For sure.
at this point, we already have.
You already got it built, yeah.
We already got it built. I think there's definitely some advantages to doing it native. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
It's native if you're developing in Swift for iOS, and it's native if you're developing in Java or Kotlin on Android. And so there's some advantages there, I think. But yeah, that's a huge advantage for React Native and Ionic, where you can just create it one time and deploy. But
nice.
yeah, we had already been down that path, went too far down one path, and it's actually worked out fine for us. So that's where we're at now.
That was one of those paths you were talking about. Dude.
Yeah. I mean, we could, change paths and go to React Native, but there's no way. It would take so much more.
It just doesn't
work.
make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because right now we're adding this cool feature and that cool feature to already existing code that already works well. Right. That's one thing with software development is like, you develop it and you have something that looks cool and works for the most part. But that's only 80% of the work. You might feel like you're 99% done, but all that, the remaining 20% is all the bugs and all the weird edge cases that you'll find that you need to fix. Like that is a ton of work that it's not often appreciated. There's a lot of work that goes into just all those refinements. Yeah. It takes a lot of time.
Well, there's a software that I use for my CRM, my bookkeeping, Honeybooks.
Okay.
And they have a mobile version. In the web-based one, the web app.
Yeah.
In the web app, you can add milestones on payment plans. Like you can say you have multiple payments that need to be made. You can break those up. You can break them up onto dates that just automatically will send a reminder when the day happens, or a milestone. A milestone would just be like if it's in milestone 1 in the contract, and you just check milestones completed,
Yeah.
and then you send the invoice for that milestone. Well, in the mobile app, it doesn't work.
Oh yeah.
I can't do milestones in the mobile app.
Yeah.
It's like it was frustrating one time because I was like on a hike and I needed to send this thing. I know I was supposed to be on a hike, not working, but I'd do it anyways.
Yeah.
But,
no, that's a common thing, right? The person, the head of Honeybooks, wanted an app. The developer probably came to him after a lot of work. He was like, here it is. But there's still a lot left to go, right?
And now they have a notification saying milestones coming soon for mobile.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. And so I just like when you said edge cases, I imagine, is that what an edge case would be?
Yeah, that's an edge case, like something that's that seems like something that might be kind of valuable to you. So that might not be an edge case. An edge case is more like, okay, if you clicked on this screen and then went here and then went there and then went there and then did this, like kind of a complex
and
thing.
it kind of confuses and breaks it?
And it kind of breaks it. Exactly. Confuses and breaks it. Yeah. So that's an edge case, something that's kind of like unexpected. It's not typical behavior, but it can still happen because, users use things in weird ways sometimes. Right?
For sure. Yeah. That's cool, man. So as you said you had the web app, how were you making money? How are you driving? How are you getting customers? Yeah,
so we operate on a freemium model. We're a software as a service. So freemium meaning we have users that can sign up for a free account. There's no cost. They get to try most of the features. But if they want to have a certain number of clients or use some of our special features, they have to upgrade. So that is one aspect of it. But and then when they upgrade, they pay for a monthly subscription. So they pay, our prices range anywhere from $20 a month up to $100 for personal trainers, and then for gyms it's anywhere from $100 to $400 a month. So they that's how we get paid. And the way we acquired customers initially was I just posted on a couple forums. It was kind of surprising how easy it was looking back at it now, right? We just posted on a couple personal training forums and people started using it. If we were to try that now, like, first off, our post would probably be deleted, like no advertising. And then there's so much out there now that, people
were these Facebook or Reddit or?
I think it was like a fitness, just like a
website?
It was a fitness website, a personal training.
Smart.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it was relevant. Yeah. So that's how we were getting customers early on, and then just word of mouth. We weren't doing any advertising. Then as time went on, we started doing kind of content marketing. So writing blog posts that were interesting to personal trainers, so that if the trainer, maybe we do
content marketing,
baby. Content marketing, it's amazing how powerful that is.
I love it. Have you heard of the book They Ask You Answer?
No,
it's so good. I've been telling everyone about it.
Okay, They Ask
I probably
You Answer.
shouldn't be telling everyone about it because there's so many good secrets in there.
Okay.
They're not really secrets if it's in a book, but you know what I mean. I feel like I want to just hold it and like not let people know. And because I had that thought, I want to give it to everyone. And let people know. It's so good.
Is it?
It'll turn your whole world around about content marketing, and it'll give you exact strategies of what to do when it comes to video, articles, whatever it is specifically. It's really good.
Okay.
I won't get too deep into it. Maybe I'll have to do a whole episode on that book. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd check it out. It sounds interesting.
Yeah. Dude's name is Marcus Sheridan.
Okay.
And I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. Okay, the content marketing, man. So you started writing some blogs.
Yeah, blogs that are relevant to personal trainers, even just blogs on interesting fitness topics, like one of
posting them on your website?
We would post it on our website, so FitSW.
So driving traffic to your website.
To our website, fitsw.com/blog. And then, someone might do a search for something and we might pop up on the first page and they click on it and then they're like, oh, wait, this is personal training related. This looks interesting. And then they might wonder what our site is. And so they'll try us out. So that has been an avenue for us. And the articles were on anything from, how to market your personal training business to how many times you should chew your food. So like just
do you guys have a YouTube channel?
We do have a YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel we post exercise demonstration videos and so
turn those articles into videos as well.
Interesting.
Basically, you have the whole video already written.
Yeah,
and
so you just read the script.
Yeah, you either read it or you can freehand it. Read the script, have a good idea of what you're talking about, and just kind of, or you can read it directly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so do you just how are you? Are you just doing something while you're reading it, or are you just kind of talking?
You're just kind of talking to the camera, just letting them know about the information. Maybe have some graphical edits pop up, and put an intro, outro, boom, bap, bam, you got it. and then
cool.
Copy and paste the article in the description for SEO reasons, and then post it to YouTube, and then put that in the article on your website. Put the link to the YouTube. At the bottom of it or at the top of it, or in the middle of it, wherever you want.
That's a good idea. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'm a video marketer guy, so that's what I think about.
I mean, you have all that content already made, like you said. You have the script.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
We've been using YouTube for so another thing we provide is we have like a library of exercises. So we have like 1,000 different exercises, and we have demonstrations of those exercises.
Nice.
So
more like a library for people to go to if they need it.
Yeah, they can go to if they
probably
need it.
Your clients.
Yeah, the clients, and then the trainers when they create a workout program. So say they want their client to do bench press, squat, and back extensions. Well, the client can pull that up, the workout on their phone if they're not with their client, and they can click a little play button that will then show that if they don't know how to do back extension, they can click that play button and see how it's done, right? And so we have a library of all those exercises, but we also allow trainers to upload their own videos. So if the trainer wants to create like a more branded experience, they can upload their own videos and link to those in the workouts as well. So it's a good way. That's what kind of got us to do YouTube. But I think, there's other opportunities to use it. Yeah.
Well, because YouTube is the number 2 most used search engine.
Yeah.
Like, you know, literally people will go to YouTube and search, or even on Google, because Google owns YouTube.
Yeah, it pops up
So
still.
if you're searching a question, how to, or what is one of your articles?
Yeah. How many times should you chew your food?
Yeah, how many times if someone's searching that, your
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
will now pop up if it ranks.
Yeah. And there's probably not other videos on that subject.
Not very
right?
much, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can that's part of the research you
Yeah,
do too. Is
yeah.
is you can optimize it if there is competition. You know, kind of reword it or do a keyword planner. You know, keyword
Yeah.
finders
Yeah.
and see what people are searching for. Type that in there and see what people are searching for, and then you can really see what other phrases that are similar to that people are, maybe someone's searching a wording that's higher.
Yeah.
That's basically the same thing, but it's just worded differently. Or maybe they're using a synonym that's different. That's the same, you know, how to masticate. I don't know.
Yeah.
No one's using that.
Yeah,
though.
right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it'll give you an idea of how to title. You just basically SEO your titles and descriptions.
That's right. We use keyword planners to plan our blog articles, but use it for YouTube. That's
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah, because the title, and then make a thumbnail. That's another important part. A good thumbnail that isn't just the random clip or random picture from the video. Thumbnails are important for that.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, because I mean, people judge books by their covers. It's just what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's cool. That's cool. So you started getting traffic and just doing some online posting and started getting traffic. People were starting to use it for free, and then when did the paid people come in? Instantly?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty quick. Because I guess we had to add some restrictions, right? You add the restriction on how many clients you can have. Add restriction to using this. Upload your own video demos. Like adding those restrictions started to motivate people to come in. And it's kind of funny. Our pricing initially was like, I think $1.99 a month. So it was like,
Wow.
it was like super cheap. But
Were you thinking you could get like 1 million people?
it was kind of like a test just to see like, are people willing to pay for this? And it proved, yes, they were. And then so pretty quickly we raised it. And now we're at $19 a month for our lowest tier. And yeah, I mean, a lot of customer acquisition was through those channels that I mentioned. And then more recently, we've done, a little bit of Google ads, App Store ads. We've had pretty good success with that because if someone goes to search, personal trainer software, we have a pretty high rating for our app. Our app is pretty well, has been received well by our customers, so it rates pretty high. And so if someone looks for personal training, the first result might be a competitor, but their rating might only be 3.8, and then our ad is right there on top at 4.7 or whatever. And so that has been fairly successful for us as well.
Nice. So I typed in personal training on the Google Play Store. Yep, I was right. Okay, so. Oh, dude, you're like the sixth one down, dude.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of that alone right there, probably.
Yeah. So that helped. And a lot of the ones above us are more consumer facing because sometimes when people type in personal training software, they want something to replace a personal trainer versus a tool that personal trainers actually use. So that's been a little bit tricky too, is like to figuring out the right keywords.
To educate people.
Yeah, and to educate people. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, because like a client isn't really going to go use our software without their trainer, right? It's the trainer that has to use it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's
I mean, the trainer uses it and then gets their client on the platform.
Yeah, and that's the idea about
it.
And my personal trainer friends, if you're watching this,
yeah, exactly.
check it out. They may already know about it.
Yeah,
It seems like you're killing it. It said it had 50,000 downloads or something like that.
Yeah, it has 50,000 just on Android.
Yeah, just on Android.
Another 50,000 on iOS.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, so we have about 10,000 monthly active users. We have 1,200 paying users, and so we have a good customer base. Trying to grow that more, and that's without focusing a ton on marketing. One thing that we're looking at doing more of though is focusing more on. I mean, we want to continue to serve personal trainers with all the tools they need, but also augmenting that with some gym-focused software. So we have created software that gyms can use, where there's a gym manager account, and then there's all the trainer accounts underneath that gym manager account. So all the trainers can use our software, use all the functionality, and then the gym's like providing something for their trainers to help their clients be more successful, help their clients be more engaged, more motivated. So it benefits the gym as a whole. And so we've worked with several gyms and some gym chains that, it's been a great experience. We want to focus even more on getting more of those gym chains. So we need to focus more on sales.
Those are the bigger tickets, huh?
Yeah, those are the bigger tickets. Yeah. So if you get a gym chain, each location is paying $200 to $300 a month. That adds up if they have 60 locations. So
for sure.
So, but that sales
imagine if you guys worked with like Vasa or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Vasa, I don't know.
Vasa, yeah, probably people say it within the company say it both ways.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, if we could work with one of them, that'd be great. We're working with a large East Coast chain, and yeah, that's a harder sale, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Right? That's
what's cool is if they search you, if they put personal trainer in the App Store, you guys have credibility, like. You guys look like the big guys.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's how this East Coast gym chain found us, right? It was an inbound marketing, but
that's what I've learned. What content marketing is inbound marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're also thinking, but to get more of those gyms, I think we're gonna have to do more sales. So more, going out and talking to gym owners and so
find out what gym owners are searching for. Create articles on that.
Yeah, that's one thing we've been doing.
Nice.
You're.
Oh yeah,
you got it down. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, we're
create videos too.
Yeah,
and then hire me. No,
yeah. I think that might be a good idea too.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, I usually don't try to sell people on this show, but so I felt weird saying that. Actually,
it could be a good fit there though.
For sure, man. Yeah. That'd be cool. So. That's where you're growing. That's where you're going. You're heading. What is your big vision for the company? What do you want to do? Do you have an exit strategy? What's the plan, man?
Yeah, good question. So it's a fairly fragmented industry. There's a lot of different companies, and there's kind of two sides of it. There's like CRM scheduling software for gyms, and then there's software like ours, which works really well for personal trainers. And so I've seen some merging of companies there, so that could be a potential exit path as we merge with another company doing something like that. We've also had private equity companies reach out to us because they have a payments company in their portfolio, and by payments I mean software that lets people accept payments. So lets a business accept payments, and so that's one aspect of our software that I guess I haven't talked about too much, is that we allow trainers to sell their services through our platform. So each trainer gets their own trainer page, and on that trainer page they can sell their services. So they can direct from their Instagram, they can direct people directly to their trainer page.
Have it reoccurring and everything too?
Yeah, they can sell subscriptions, they can sell merchandise, they can do all that stuff through their trainer page. And so that revenue flows through us, and then we pay it out to the trainer after taking a very small percentage. But we've had some private equity companies that have payment companies in their portfolios that are interested in us using those payments companies, or see synergies between us working with them. And so that could be another potential exit.
Or just be like Mark Zuckerberg and just buy everybody.
Yeah. I don't know if we have the revenue, but that would be nice. Yeah. I guess shoot for the stars, right?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of standard in the software game. I mean, Google acquiring companies,
Yeah, that's right.
That's kind of what you got to do if you want to continue to grow.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So sweet, man. Is there where can people find you? Is there anything else you'd like to let people know before we start closing this down?
Yeah. So people can find us on FitSW.com, or just type in FitSW on the App Store. They'll find our app there. We would love to work with people in the fitness community. There's been several partnerships we've formed with people or organizations that were fitness related that have been mutually beneficial. So, we're open to hearing any ideas. So if any of your listeners, are in the fitness industry or want to chat, or have a fitness related business, or just want to chat about fitness, we're happy to do that. We also have a website called Find Train Gain. So that was launched during COVID when we got a lot of questions from people that weren't necessarily personal trainers, but they wanted to either work with a personal trainer or do a live class. And so we created that Find Train Gain site where consumers, not personal trainers, consumers can go to Find Train Gain, find a personal trainer, train with them, and then gain, right?
Yeah.
So that's the intention of that site. So that's our consumer facing version. So if you're looking for a personal trainer out there, and we have a long list of trainers that use that site. They all use FitSW, so they have all the technology behind them to track progress, to deliver workouts efficiently, and clients can go to that site, search through those trainers, find one that maybe looks like a good fit, and contact them to see if they can work with them. So that's another opportunity that we're exploring and continuing to grow as well.
And I'm actually not going to close it down yet because there's a few things we still need to cover. Actually, I realized it's interesting with you saying that finding trainers. It just reminded me of how COVID probably helped in a certain way. I know probably was bad in a certain way too, for sure. But it allowed people to be open to virtual training. I assume. Yeah,
that's exactly right. Yeah, so COVID was really interesting for us because when it first hit, a lot of, I guess before COVID, personal trainers were mostly training in person. There were some that were still doing the online training thing. But when COVID first hit, all those trainers that were training in person, a lot of them just, stopped because they couldn't work, right? They didn't know how to online train. And so that caused
give me the PPP, just chill.
And so that caused a dive in our business, and that hurt us. But luckily we were able to focus on adding more features that made online training more viable and easier.
Because now you can have like a top star trainer who's in LA, and I could do it from here.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. And one thing that we've seen actually is international trainers in lower cost of living areas training people in the US because they have all the knowledge, they have all the capabilities. But that's been interesting too. But so with COVID, we saw an initial dive. We were able to add those features, and eventually we've kind of come back and got some of those trainers who quit and left the training industry. They were able to add the online training portion to their services and kind of make that successful. So it was an interesting effect. And that was also the reason for the launch of Find Train Gain, just to make it possible for them to deliver live classes. So, clients could go to that site and look for, what live classes were being offered, remotely and do that.
Nice. Yeah, that's interesting. How listings work. It's basically like a listing site, right?
Exactly.
Elon Musk first website, I'm pretty sure, was like a listing site.
Was it?
Like it was some local. It was basically like putting together local businesses or something like that. I forget exactly what it was. I don't want to like be wrong.
Well, it's a huge. I mean, there's so many needs for that. So many different industries where you can apply that. And we already had this database of trainers that's using our software that. A big problem for personal trainers is finding new clients, right? They may know everything about fitness. They may be a great motivator, but if they can't market themselves and find new clients, it's hard for them. And so we decided to launch that site because we had all those people already using our software, and that's what led to the launch of that site.
Nice. Yeah. And has that been good for you guys?
Yeah, I'm glad we did it. It's been growing. It's like I said, it's a great way for those trainers to get exposure, and I think we're going to focus a little bit more on that because that right now our customers are personal trainers, right? We're targeting personal trainers, but if we can focus on that Find Train Gain site, we can also start to target a new customer base because there's only so many personal trainers in the world, but there's lots of people that are interested in fitness and potentially working with a personal trainer. So if we can focus more on that, that's opening up another market to us.
For sure. And the next question is, so I take it, do you have experience with personal training?
Yeah. So I was actually a personal trainer during college and like a little bit on the side while I was working at Intel for maybe 6 months. I personally trained a couple people, and at that time I saw a need for software like this, but we're talking about all the standing on the shoulders of giants, all that that software wasn't there, like the building blocks. Smartphones weren't as prevalent, right? You didn't have all the technology to pull from your Apple Health and all that stuff. And so at the time it didn't make sense for it. I also didn't have the technical capability to implement it. And so I kept that in my mind. And then when I finally did a project during my MBA, it was an entrepreneurship class. We were supposed to launch an MVP, a minimum viable product.
Okay.
And that was the idea I came up with. Like, oh, I've always thought about this. I want let me launch this product. And so that was the one I launched, and that's what got me into doing this business.
Nice. Yeah, sweet. I was just thinking how MVP, doesn't that stand for like if like you're like a special person, or that's VIP? Yeah.
No, MVP also. So MVP, most valuable player in sports, right?
Okay. Yeah. But it's funny because you can also call them minimal viable products.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know if an athlete would like to be called that, but but the intention with the MVP is like you want to release a product that's you can't develop. You want to test out whether this.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, for
right?
sure. Yeah. It helps make sure that you can do the most fundamental things.
Exactly.
Especially when you're doing it for a project or for a class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next thing I wanted to talk about before we close it out is the influencer marketing thing, because I'm working with a company actually where they do most of their stuff is. Like, most of their business comes from influencer marketing. Like, they're sponsoring, like, a UFC fighter who has, like, 1.5 million followers or something like that. He's, like, one of the big guys right now, actually. Brandon Moreno.
Okay, yeah. That's cool.
And so it's, like, I've had some... Just being friends with him and having conversations with him, I have some insight of kind of how that works, and I'm kind of interested to see you guys. I think before we started, you said you're just getting started in influencer marketing. Yeah.
So I mean, the fitness industry and influencers kind of go hand in hand. Where there's these people that they have the fitness look that people want, and so they start delivering workouts. But anyway, there's a lot of trainers that use our platform that see a path to increase revenue by becoming an influencer, right? They can show themselves doing exercises. They look fit. They and they create a following. And so it's kind of been a natural evolution where personal trainers that were using our software began to get more and more followers, just from their own marketing on Instagram. And so we saw the need for some additional features to help them, realize revenue from that. And so we've built a few custom apps. That's one thing that we offer our users, whether you're a gym or an individual personal trainer, is we can create a custom app for you that basically utilizes all our technology as the engine, but it's that influencer's brand on the front end, their color scheme, all that stuff in their own mobile app. And so these influencers might want their own app that's, Joe Influencer's app, and it looks so cool and they have 1 million people following them. They can say, hey guys, come download my app. I'll deliver workouts, and you'll see fitness plans, fitness programs, and you'll be able to talk with me through my app. And so we've developed some of those apps for those influencers. We call it a white label app, right? Because it's not our label on it. No one knows that we're the ones behind it. But it has all our technology, but their branding. Yeah,
that's cool, because I actually got familiar with the concept of white labeling things.
Yeah.
Because of that company I was just talking about, who's they're actually a sponsor of the show, Sheath Underwear. Check them out. Use the code COSBP to get 20% off. Okay.
Nice.
So they sponsored the show, and I totally just threw myself off of that.
Yeah. Well, so they do white labeling, do they?
No, I learned about white labeling through something else, and then when I was having a conversation with them, they brought that up. They're recently doing a beverage, but it's just like, it's going to be a short-lived thing, and it's someone else's product, but they're just throwing their name on it.
Cool.
Essentially, white labeling. That's what it is.
Yeah. So we do a lot of that. That's what a lot of our bigger gym customers like, right? They don't want their clients to see like FitSW. They want to see their name, so the clients feel part of that gym, right? It's the gym's app. And so, we see a big market for that for influencers as well. We have some influencers that have 50,000 followers. We have some that have 1.5 million that, they want to, that's a way for them to realize revenue with an app where they can charge a subscription fee right there on the app. It's easy to purchase, and then they can, we make it easy for them to.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then you guys get a cut? Percentage?
Yeah. We've done it multiple ways. We've done like a monthly subscription. They pay us a monthly fee for that, or we've taken a cut of the percentage of subscriptions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. You would know better than me, but I feel like the percentage would be better.
Yeah, it would be better.
It could be better. It could be worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could be way better.
Yeah.
It's like there's extremes with that, right? That one is way better or potentially not that great. And then the subscription is like more
The cool
steady,
thing
but
is that
lower.
it's software as a service. So it's like if you're not losing anything if it's not doing anything.
Yeah, you're not losing anything. Yeah. There's no, right. Yeah.
Maybe besides energy.
Server costs are, they're there, but they're not, extreme.
For sure. It's worth it. Like when I was having a conversation with Bobby about the influencer marketing, he's the person who is the founder of Sheath. He was talking about how like it's a lot of hit and miss when it comes to influencer marketing. You'll be paying someone all this money and they have a good following actually, but it's not doing as well as this other person. And it's kind of the reason why it's hit or miss is because it's, you just can't really predict these. It's really hard to dial that in. Who's going to give you $100,000 in sales off of one video they do or one sponsorship, and who's not,
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the ones that don't work, the ones that do work make up for the ones that don't work, It's kind of you gotta have all these things out there, and one of them's the big one that's making all these things okay, and really like figuring out what's best. I mean, it's like software programming, like you gotta test a bunch of different things. It's experimenting and really figuring out, and then kind of doubling down on the things that work, and siphoning out the things that don't, or cooling out the things that don't, and yeah,
for sure.
There's that word cooling. I think I picked up from like game dev.
I like that word. I was like, oh, that's a word I don't hear too often. That's a good word. Yeah,
I think I picked it up from doing development.
Okay.
There's a few things that I think, just development jargon that I've picked up, like what is, there's a popular saying now, I think, where it's like, I seen it on a TV show. I'm trying to think. It doesn't matter. Oh, well. Yeah, man. So yeah, this has been cool, man. I think this has been a great episode. I think we can safely say that you've provided some good value to the listeners, I think.
Cool.
And definitely for me.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason why I do this show, is just to give value for me.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. The public benefit is ancillary, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that kind of to be honest, that's kind of the initial start of the podcast is for benefits of my business.
Yeah.
And then realizing, oh crap, this thing is a community piece. This thing is a public service.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome how it's developed. I mean, the show is like an app itself. You could probably do an analogy for programming for almost anything. I can honestly, but how it develops, and over time, like we kind of work out kinks, we kind of upgrade things, we get new mics, we get new
these
things.
are awesome.
We have a
setup.
better freaking audio interface on the ground over there because it's broken. So we have this crappier one. Okay. So it's like it is not that crap. It's alright. It's. I mean, if you spend a couple $100 on something, you hope it works.
Yeah. No, I think your podcast is great. I mean, it provides value. It's always fun to talk about startups and business, and I don't think that a lot of people get exposure to that. So it's really cool that you do that. We're actually part of a in-town incubator accelerator called Exponential Impact.
Okay.
And I think that's a cool organization as well, and it'd be cool to link you guys up or figure out if there's anything to do with them. Because it's a group of startups. There's several startups that go through that program, and they're always looking to talk about their business, talk about business and startups.
For sure. And like when we were doing 5 episodes a week, we could just basically have anyone come on because we had like all the slots.
Yeah.
Now we have 52 slots a year, so we have to kind of be selective.
That's tight, yeah.
And this year we're looking for more heavy hitters. Okay. Not startups necessarily.
Okay. Yeah.
Though we will, and we do have people scheduled that, like, we're scheduled all the way out until July, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's like, the slots fill up pretty quick. So we are focusing this year on wanting to get more heavy hitters.
More heavy hitters. So I mean, some of those startups are $1 million in revenue. So there are some big ones.
Oh yeah, I forget startup can mean a lot of things.
So I mean, the way I talk about startups is just companies that are trying to grow rapidly, reinvesting everything back into the company. That's kind of how I think of them. But some of them have high revenues, but they just pump that right back into the business.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that's cool what you're doing. I think, like you said, you have limited spots in it. I'm glad you're able to have us on. It's been a cool experience. Nice speaking with you.
You too, man. And yeah, so it's like we definitely would love to have those startups on, like some people who can provide value. Like we've had a lot of people who are just getting started and trying to figure out how to make it work. So it's like if we can get people who are doing bigger things, we can provide better value, I think. And like I want to also get like some of the big names out here, the big brands that when you say their name, everyone in town knows that brand. Yeah. Like, you know, I'd love to have more of them on the show, you know.
For sure.
And so it's like being selective is important.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. You have limited time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, this has been great, man. And yeah, we'll close at the show. So this has been the COS Business Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Good episode, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Good hour-long episode.
Okay.